If you know me. I'm sorry, I literally just finished this book and I can't get the ending out of my head. Everything else felt like this is the lesson I learned. Like, yeah, lesson I learned. That when he was talking about his relationship with feelings and how he deals with his feelings, that felt like I am still working on this. Welcome all to another vlog. Once more, I will be trying to vlog my experience reading for 24 hours, and this will be exactly 24 hours, like actually timing it and seeing how much I get done when it comes to reading. Now, I did try this it might have been like a month or two ago. However, I ended up being sick. Well, no, it was allergies, but it was very tough allergies that felt like I was sick. And that was some BS. I still remember that. The thing is, I actually was doing really well of reading and timing it. I had made it to 20 hours and realized I wasn't vlogging a lot of it. I could not get myself to do B-roll. I was just reading. So that wasn't going to be a good video for you all. And I really wanted you all to experience the 24 hours with me. So I completely scrapped that and stopped timing myself when I realized it wasn't going to be a video. But this time, I have nothing but time. It is Sunday now, but I actually have this week off from work. So minus tomorrow, Monday, I have a meeting that I have to do that's like 2.5 hours. It's a very long meeting, but it's like a set one that we couldn't reschedule or do anything to. It's very set in stone. But everything else, I have the week off. I will be house sitting, but besides that, I don't have anything to do this week, and I'm so excited. I cannot express to you how excited I am to have a week off from work. I mean, you probably understand why I'm so excited about that. But yeah, very exciting things. So let's talk about what books I am thinking I'll be reading. I almost said that I'll be reading, but let's face it, it's me. I don't do well with following TBRs because I'm a rebel. I don't like rules. I do what I want. Even if this is what I want, who knows if I'll want it later. One that I know that I'll be reading because I really want to get back into reading a nonfiction for the month, and July is almost up, and so far June is the only month that I did not finish my nonfiction for that month. So July's nonfiction needs to be read and finished, and that is Will. Now, I did get the audiobook on Audible for this one. Because Erin from Booked and Busy is the whole reason I got this book, and she was like, get the audiobook as well. So I did, and I'm very excited to get to this. I've heard nothing but great things from the people who I know who have read it, and I'm very excited to get to it myself, and especially the audiobook, because apparently there's a lot of like Audible assisting things, like listening to clips from his own music, and I think even clips from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air in this book, like in the audiobook. So I'm very, very, very excited to finally get to it. The whole reason I haven't gotten to it yet this month is because I really wanted to read along with the audiobook, or at least have more times that I'm reading with the audiobook than times where I'm just listening to the audiobook, which now this week I have plenty of time to do that. I'm about to start the readathon really, really soon. I need to clean up my room because my niece stayed the night and it looks like a 2-year-old ran through here. So while I'm cleaning up my room, I'll be listening to this. The physical book I'll be reading is Honey and Spice by Bolu Babalola. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Please let me know in the comments. But the whole reason I am reading this book is because of everything she reads on Instagram. She is the whole reason that I read The Final Strife, which has ended up being my favorite book of the year. And apparently this main character's name is Kiki. Now, some of y'all don't even know why that's a big deal. Let me explain it to you. My name is Kalia. Hi. I think I forgot to introduce myself for those of you who are new. Hi, I'm Kalia. My nickname from my family, and just like what my family calls me, is Kika. I saw my name in the back. Kiki. My family calls me Kiki. I have never read a book character. Like, I know a lot of people with very common names read books with characters with their name quite often. My name is Kalia. I have met other Kalias. I have yet to meet one that spells her name the same way I do. It's fine. I remember the very first other Kalia I met, and I remember being like, okay, I don't actually like having a common name, because every time somebody calls her, I'm looking all over the place just to find out they were talking to somebody else. I don't like that. But I've never gotten to read my name in a book, and the fact that the main character's name is Kiki. Also, everything she reads on Instagram also said her name is Jen, I believe. But she also said that she was equating this book to Ace of Spades. Y'all know I got to. You know I got you. In the sense that the female main character, whose name is Kiki, apparently is very similar to, I was about to say Farida, Devon Chiamaka, and saying that Kiki in this book is very similar of a character as Chiamaka is in Ace of Spades. And y'all know I love Chiamaka. She was just like, I need more characters like these two. Talking about Chiamaka and Kiki in this book. Let me find out Kiki is like Chiamaka. I'm going to self-insert myself in this book. I'm going to do that. Oh my God. Let me find out I'm in this book. And it's literally my name. Y'all, I have to dial down my expectations with this book because I am expecting a lot. Oh my God. This book, oh my God. I need to curb my enthusiasm. Her name is Kiki, and she's really sounding like me. Let me find out she's a journalism major, and that's gonna take me over the edge. Like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. I knew I recognized this author's name. I definitely do own Love. This is the author of Love and Color, which I definitely own and just haven't read yet. What to say? Oh my goodness. My baby girl. Oh! I'm not crying, you are. For my baby girls, my baby gals. Soft and savage and sweet, strong and tender and tough and exquisite. So exquisite. I love it when they dedicate the book to me. And clearly this is dedicated to me because I'm the main character. Holy shit. Oh, the way I'm going to be projecting the shit into this book. Okay, cool. I'm so dramatic. She has a nose piercing. What the fuck is wrong with me? I've never had this before. For all y'all that have had, okay, first of all, eyes. Something's in my eyes. For all y'all who have main characters with the same name as you all the time, you definitely think I'm being dramatic. But I never do. And I'm looking at this so cute black girl on the cover, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. This shit, this is about to be so much fun. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, Bobo. It says, a vibrant debut novel full of passion, humor, and heart that centers on a young woman who has no interest in love and unexpectedly finds herself caught up in a fake relationship with the man she warned her girls about. Stop it. That's my physical read. I'm very excited to get to it. And then also I have a graphic novel that I have really been meaning to get to, and I'm very excited to finally be getting to it. That used to be a webtoon. Can you guess what it is? Yeah, you guessed it. Lore Olympus, Volume 1. I have been meaning to get to this for quite some time, and now it's the time. Volume 2 came out very recently. I also just purchased Volume 2. Actually, I think I bought them at the same time. So I want to hurry up and read this one so I can get into that one and prepare for Volume 3 coming out later this year. All great things, all exciting things. Holy shit. Also, I have always really loved the art in this book, based on like what other people have shown of it. And I'm just excited to finally be experiencing it for myself. The timer officially starts now. Passed. In regards to the timer, not that much considering how much I read, but in regards to actual time, like what I have gone through, the days of the week, it's Friday. So let me just explain. First and foremost, I did finish my first book. Yay. Clockwise, we are just under 17 minutes. I also have read, hold on. I also am more than halfway through Will, but I have completed Honey and Spice. So let me just explain what's been happening. As I have mentioned before, I think I had mentioned in the intro that I was going to be house sitting. I overestimated how willing or how comfortable I would be filming in another person's home. Granted, I don't think that the person would have a problem with that. They're very supportive of me and all that I do. And like, even when I was like filming in like a corner of the house that was very nondescript and like there was nothing, it was like a white wall, I still was like, this is someone else's home. So all I could really do was get B-roll for that, and I hope you guys understand. I didn't finish any of the books during that time, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, I came back home Wednesday night. Thursday, I did a good chunk of reading, and then was trying to get some editing done. But I'm gonna be honest, I can't, like, it keeps being like choosing to edit or choosing to read, and I keep choosing to read, which I hope as like fellow readers you guys can understand that. And I'm so sorry that I took another break without warning, but like I said, it was choosing between reading more or editing, and I just really wanted to read, especially since like I got this time off from work. I just have been wanting to relax and really check in with myself when like self-reflection, and just really trying to, you know, build my psychological fortitude, build my like strength, and not have come undones out of nowhere, which is where I was heading. So I definitely really needed that break, and I hope you guys understand. But as it pertains to this video, I have completed Honey and Spice. It was everything I needed it to be. And even in the instances where it surprised me, I still ended up falling in love with that. So Honey and Spice is about Kiki I don't know if it's Banjo or Banjo, but Kiki. And she is like this radio personality on Brown Sugar, which is her radio show in which she gives relationship advice, and then also plays R&B music. So literally, we share a name and a spirit. Like, there actually were quite a lot of similarities between me and Kiki, from her being the number one person that her friends go to for relationship advice, to her only really wanting to stick with like one friend, and that friend being super social, and therefore Kiki having to be social for that friend. I definitely tend to be drawn towards more outward personalities, because I know for a fact that I'm more inward. And if I want to have fun, if I want to leave the house and have fun and, you know, be social and stuff, it was very much because of my very social friends that helped me to leave my comfort zone. Kiki and I actually had so many similarities between Kiki, and then we met Malachi Kai. Y'all, he was described, his physical appearance was described as a cross between Kofi Cerebral and Morris Chestnut. Now, if you know me, I'm sorry, I literally just finished this book and I can't get the ending out of my head. But if you know me, I'm getting teary-eyed. What the hell? If you know me, you know that my celebrity crush, like literally my mom even asked me this recently, and when I gave her the answer, she was like, oh yeah, I know that. If you know me, you know that my celebrity crush is Kofi Cerebral. Why is that man so fine? So imagine me, if you will, coming into this book, already reading my name, or the closest I'll ever get to my name being in a book. Authors out there, if you want to write a book about a Kalia, spelled my way, thank you. I would love that, please. But anyways, imagine me reading this book, reading a character with my name, behaving very similar to myself in certain ways, not always, clearly. Like, this isn't me in a book, but oh, we were close, so close. Like, me and Kiki would actually be friends. Oh my god, we'd be the Kikis. Anyways, so imagine that. I'm already reading this like, wow, me and Good Sis are so much the same. And then the love interest is described as Kofi Cerebral. And yes, Morris Chestnut, very handsome man, got that. Kofi Cerebral. From that moment on, all I saw was Kofi. Okay, I'll forget the mix. It's no mix. It's just Kofi. Okay, so I was in love. He was so cute, and I think and the way he, like, this character is described and things he does, like, I could actually also very much picture Kofi playing this character. If this wants to be adapted, Kofi, please take the part. And oh my god, I think I'd be such a great Kiki. I'm just saying, I could play the part. I could. Granted, this takes place in England, so I don't have the accent, nor does Kofi though. So there's that. But if you just want to Americanize this a little bit, I think we'd be great for the roles. This is my audition. I loved every aspect of it. The chemistry between Malachi and Kiki was just so cute. I loved their back and forth, their banter. It was everything. This book deals with a fake dating trope. I didn't know that I loved fake dating until this moment. I have read many books with fake dating as a central theme, and yet this one had me being like, I get it. This is a great trope, okay? Love this all the way through. If you'd like to know the synopsis of the book, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. Honey and Spice follows Kiki, who is a radio personality, and she gives relationship advice, but she doesn't quite take her own advice. Now, one day as she is giving advice, she notices that in the inbox are a lot of similar questions of, how can I get a man to wife me? How can I do this? How can I get this guy's attention? What do I do if so X, Y, and Z? All very similar tones, and she goes to figure out what is the commonality between these people because her inbox has never looked like this before. Lo and behold, all these women have recently followed Malachi on ProntoPic, which is like Instagram. Also, he's a new guy on campus, and they're in a predominantly white institute, but there's like this section of the school that's kind of, the school is called something Whitewell, and so the like black students of the school have deemed themselves Blackwell and Blackwellians. There are also factions within the black, I want to be like the black side of the college, but it's not like that. It's a lot more 2022 acceptable, and that's just what happens when you go to a predominantly white institution, especially a larger one. When there are so few black people, you tend to kind of just all come together, and within the Blackwellians there are different factions. So there are like the vegan girls, there are the, I don't remember the names for anybody else, but they're like the really hot girls on campus, the gossips, and then Kiki finds herself outside of group very intentionally so that she can just like watch within the group and then provide advice for Brown Sugar. Things have occurred in an instance of Kiki really trying not to get caught up in a situationship. She ends up kissing Malachi, I keep forgetting his name only because I keep trying to call him Kofi. She ends up kissing Malachi and things ensue. For her to be able to save Brown Sugar, her radio show, and to save her future and also help Malachi with his future, they decide to strike a deal of a fake relationship in order to promote Brown Sugar and also to help with a documentary that he is working on. That is my description of this, but there's just so much more in here. I really did enjoy the Blackwellian side of this book and the factions within Black groups. I do think at first I was like, oh, look at this like Bratz movie / High School Musical thing happening over here. I don't really know what to feel about this. And then I realized you do find yourself with it, and it's actually mentioned in the book, like you do find yourself gravitating to certain people and you find yourself in this group, and just for like comfortability's sake or from fear of moving beyond that, because you've kind of been put in a box because this is the group that you chose when you first came in here. But you know what? The choices you made first day of freshman year are not the choices that need to stick throughout your entire college experience. And so during this whole book, groups started to combine and people started to venture out into other groups and just have friends based on their friends' personalities. And it was just so cute. I loved it so much. 5 stars, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. 5 stars. This book is just so cute. It gave me everything I needed and didn't know I needed it. It felt so much like a late 90s, early 2000s rom-com. It reminded me so much of like what it felt like for me as a kid that should not have been watching adult programming. But it felt like it felt like watching Two Can Play That Game, or so many other like Black rom-com shows that were very popular in the early 2000s. Or were they popular? Okay, well, they were popular in my household, okay? I just remember being a kid and having so much, like, yes, there were like the stereotypical rom-coms, which I definitely enjoyed and loved, but there was just something very centralized and like more accessible of just like Black rom-coms and Black movies with Black leads and just Black everywhere, just Blackness everywhere. And that's what this book felt like, just unapologetically Black and doing the same, well, not the same thing because it was better, but doing the rom-com-esque feel of everything, but just being centralized and unapologetically Black and just beautiful. I love this book so much. New place in like, just wow, it's just so great. Like this is my comfort read. This makes me so happy because I just see so much of myself, and it awakened the joys that I had when I was a kid watching movies similar to this. Like I said, like Two Can Play That Game, and I can't think of any other titles right now, but it just gives me that feel. And the friendships that were developed during this book, beautiful. All of it, beautiful. I'm so happy for Kiki and her growth. Oh my God, the way self-growth was highlighted and depicted in this book for so many different characters. Kiki's best friend, Amina, that's my girl. I was so happy for her. Like, I'm just happy that she exists. I don't know why I know why I'm happy for her at the end, but also just like in general, I was already happy for her because she exists and she's just like Black girl luxury. It's just so great. Like I said, the friendship and like the friend group that Kiki developed during this book, that's the friend group I want. I love them so much. They're all so unique and yet they meld so beautifully together. I stan these queens. I love it so much. I want more. Can we get another book? Can this become a TV show? Please? And like we expand the story from like after this as well. Like it did not have to be this good, and yet it was so goddamn good. So yeah, like I said, I'm at just under 17 hours of this readathon kind of. Well, 24-hour reading period. It's not really a readathon. That's one thing. I have not really found myself like with the rush to read. Like I just set the timer. And so that was what was fun about the first time that I attempted this, is that it was a part of a readathon. And so I had that like drive to just read continuously, and I could get the project done in like one concise thing very quickly. But I was sick, so that got in the way of things. Whereas this time I didn't have work all week. I could just relax, and I was really just focused on unwinding and winding down and and everything. So there wasn't even like rush to this project. And so yeah, like I said, we're at just under 17 hours, 16 hours and 58 minutes to be exact. I'm on page 235 of Will, which leaves me about that much left with some pictures in between. But yeah, I'm most of the way through Will. I will get back to you guys when I finish it and tell you my thoughts on it. Once I finish this book, I think this one, by the way, is one that I'm reading as an audiobook. After I did the intro, I was like, actually, I think I'm just going to read see how much I can read physically. Physically within 24-hour increments. And then I realized, or within 24 hours. And then I realized, as the time continued to pass, that I'm actually like doing chores and like running errands now and cannot focus. I just need to listen to an audiobook. So if I do not do an audiobook as well, then this project is going to be for long lasting forever. It does look like I think I have 4 more hours left in the audiobook. Like I said, we're almost at 17 hours. So that will leave me at 21 hours left of the thing. It's looking like the books that I will be reading for this 24 hours are the books that I had told you guys in the beginning. There's no extra books. And I might not even finish Lord Olympus. We'll see how long that takes me to read. But yeah, I, for one, am happy with this reading experience. I hope you guys are enjoying the video so far, because I'm enjoying what I'm reading. Okay, go pick up Honey and Spice. It is the greatest romance book that I have read all year. By far, okay? It leads the pack. It is just so great, because it's also just so much more than just romance. It is falling in love with yourself, falling in love with your friends, falling in love with a significant other or the potential of a significant other. It is just so many things, and it is beautiful. So yeah, I will be doing some chores and finishing up Will. I will come back to y'all when that is complete. Hi, hello you guys. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, or closer to 9 at this point, but I have officially finished Will. We have a little bit less than an hour left, and that is with time that I've had to calculate from what I know, because apparently my stopwatch decided that it's been stopwatching for too long and it just erased my progress. But that was after I'd done the update with you all and had read 16 hours and 58 minutes of the book. So, of doing this, not of the book. And yeah, so yay, I'm happy we did that update, because I lost it. Because after that update, I actually didn't read anymore. And then I have lost it the next day. So that's fine. But yeah, I've completed Will. I have 58 minutes left, I believe, just a little bit under an hour left of reading to do, where I will be picking up Lord Olympus. But let's talk about Will. First and foremost, I gave it a 5 stars. If you don't know what Will is about, it is the autobiography by Will Smith about his first 50 years of life. He wrote it with Mark Manson, and I adore this cover so much. And I remember seeing the cover and it's just his face, and I was like, That's so Will. That's so Will Smith. But let's just talk about like overall what I really loved about this book and why it is a 5 stars for me, because I don't think that everyone is going to give this book a 5 stars. I mean, not everyone gives well, I don't give every memoir I read 5 stars, but sometimes I just choose not to rate them. But this one in particular, I really want to rate, and it's because I love Will Smith, and I definitely, well, no, my love for him hasn't really faded, but I feel like I was a bit more, I don't even want to say obsessed as a kid, but let's just do the grand scheme of like my impressions of Will Smith as I was younger, because it definitely impacted my desire to want to read this book, but also my confliction of not wanting to read the book. So when I was a kid, for some reason, I genuinely don't know, and I usually don't tell people this because they usually start to think that I have like a bad relationship with my dad or something, and that's completely not true. I love my dad so much. He is so funny, and honestly, the way that he just experiences the world and is just so happy and loving towards everyone and just outgoing, I don't know whose child I am. And if I did not look like the female version of that man, I would doubt that I was his child. But apparently he is my dad. How? I don't know, because I am like, how did he just goes out and he's just happy? You know how I'm always like, and maybe you don't, but you know I'm always like, who the hell goes around just smiling? My dad. Low-key, my dad. But my dad's great and I love him very dearly. However, younger Kalia was very obsessed with TV and movies, and yeah. So for some reason, in my little mind, I had like TV dads, and Will Smith was one of them. Fun fact. It was like in my head, it was like a group of people that like if I got to choose my dad, I would choose those dads. And now that I think about it, because I was reflecting on this with my friend Ashley on Sprints yesterday on Mel's Discord, and as I was reflecting on this, I realized that a lot of the dads that I chose reminded me of my own dad, and the fact that they were just like really goofy and funny and like outgoing and out there. Will Smith in particular fits under that bill. So his career started before I was born. I'm not going to do dates, but it was before I was born. He was well into his rap career, and The Fresh Prince, I believe, also came out before I was born, like a few years before I was born. That being said, Will Smith's career has been all over my lifetime. I've seen so much of it, and there's also so much that I have not seen. So when he talks about how important it was for him to be the greatest movie star, or the greatest, well, no, he said the greatest movie star, or like, and he was like going through his list of films that he's done, his like film discography. I was witness to a lot of that, and to see his thought processes for this, and to see how he made each of these movies great. Genius. Especially, I think the one that was most impactful for me was Men in Black, because I loved watching that as a kid, and I specifically remember loving it so much because of the song that went in tandem with it. And so when he was like talking about how the song and movie like together, how they were a combo, worked, and how it like all came to be, I was just like, he got a team of really smart people that he literally just took a chance on. Like, so many of his great moments happened because of someone that was close to him, like family members, friends from growing up, or just people he really trusted, telling him to do things or giving him ideas to do things, trying to foster their own creative avenues and creative aspirations, and like going to Will and being like, you should do this. I want you to do this for me, or whatever. In a much nicer way than do this for me, but they were just like, Will, give me a shot to do this for you. I think it's gonna be really big for you. And he would just have been, and he would, for some of them, the ones we saw in the book, he was like, okay, he just gave it a shot, and it blew up really big. So seeing that, the like kismet of so much of his career, and how he really did surround himself with just such great creative caring and nurturing people towards his growth as an artist, as an actor, and well, as a rapper turned actor turned movie star. Surround yourself with great people. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, this beautiful. Like, there's a group of people that watch your meteoric rise of like greatness and complete strangers' eyes and like adorations, and his fan base is huge across the world. And for like so much of the reason that he's was able to be so big is because he surrounded himself with such great people that were so down for the cause of Will Smith, so down in the dirt for his career and for his life, and saw something in him that made them want to do better and wanted them to be more creative, and really didn't hinder their creative outlet. I don't know, just reading his background, coming from Philly, the household he grew up in, there wasn't very much art in it. Well, there was, but there wasn't a sense of, you can do this rap thing and get out of here. Like, more tangible jobs were what you needed to do to be better, or to not end up in a gang or selling drugs or in a dangerous situation. And Will rapped, and Will grabbed a group of friends and they rapped and they became stars. And it was just so cool to read that part, because literally all that clearly happened way before I was born, because he was just starting out his career in that. So it was so cool. And then also reading his memories of the Fresh Prince, and when he said that all he wanted to do was send his TV family off into dignity, I was like, oh, you about to make me cry, because they really are a family and it's so beautiful. But also what really spoke to me is, again, like I said, something like Will Smith for some reason is one of those people in my head that I had on the level of being like, oh, that would be my TV dad. And I want to stress TV, like, clearly I didn't actually want these people to be my dads, but I just watched a lot of TV and my brain works that way. So, like, basically, like, if I were to be an actor or something, I would want this person to play my dad. But also some of them are white, so it was literally just like, I like the work you do and you seem fun, goofy, whatever. For Will Smith in particular, I remember very specifically being a child, watching this man on the Fresh Prince reruns or whatever, and seeing him on Men in Black, and what other movies of him I watched when I was little? Oh, hearing his voice on Shark Tale. Also, that made his voice very soothing to me as a child. There are also people in my head whose voices are just, they basically can just lull me to sleep. They're so soothing to me. And some of them have very raspy voice, so it doesn't really make sense. But like, for example, that group includes Will Smith, Ice Cube, DMX was on that group. I really loved how raspy his voice is. Tupac was one of them. So basically a lot of entertainers, or specifically music artists with very unique voices. And I guess Will actually also kind of goes under that, because he has something in his voice that's kind of high, but also, of course, his voice is low. And there's something very intricate and interesting about that type of voice to me. But of course, naming the other guys, their voices are a lot more hard, deep, and like raspy, more a lot of the case. Ja Rule as well. They're, unlike the other people, Ja Rule, I didn't really know anything about him except that he was in a lot of the music that I was listening, or that I heard when I was growing up, and I just loved how like raspy his voice is. Anyways, that doesn't matter, but like that just made the audiobook so much better, because I was just like listening to Will Smith narrate his own audiobook, and I was like, such a great voice. Like, it's funny how his voice soothes me as an adult because of how much joy he brought me as a child. Again, going back to like what I was saying originally, I remember being a kid and watching him on Men in Black, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Bad Boys, duh, Clea. I watched so much of Bad Boys 1 and 2. Should not have. I was a literal child, but I watched a lot of it, I watched it a lot, and I remember watching him in these different roles and looking at him and being like, and I remember specifically when watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, being a child and thinking, he's an entertainer. Like, he just loves to entertain. Like, and then seeing him on the red carpet, especially, like, you know, that picture of him and Jada where he's like, I just remember looking at him and like hearing interviews with him and just being like, he's an entertainer. He just wants to make people happy with his gift. And so for that to be such an essential part of this book, I was just like, I could see, like, I wonder if he knew that we knew that he was like this, because there's something on my, that was annoying that happened to me, because I don't know, it just felt like, it felt like when you're reading a fiction book and you like guess the plot twist a little early and then it happens and you're like, oh my God, I knew it. Like, it's that exciting time when you get the plot twist right. So it felt like, oh my God, I knew that part of you. Like, there's some type of vulnerability that you presented when you were on the screen, or particularly when you were on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then additionally with the interviews that you would do, that allowed your audience to see how much you wanted them to be happy and how much you wanted to entertain them. And I think that that had a lot to do with why he became so big and why people seem to think that he is not human. And of course, this is in hindsight. After the whole Oscars incident earlier this year, holy shit, I guess this year has been long. After the whole Oscar incident, and then literally as I'm reading the book, he posted his apology on Instagram on Friday, and I, like, as you're reading the book and knowing all this stuff, I swear to you guys, there were so many lines where I was like, yeah, this is how this happened. And as people were doing their like think pieces or talking about it all the time, I'm not the type of person that is like super obsessed with celebrities, or the type of person that conflates who they are or like makes them inhuman. I very much see the humanness in celebrities, and I guess that's because I don't get so obsessed with them. But when the whole incident happened, I was just like, oh, why do we have to like talk about this? I completely understand how something like this could happen and how emotions can get too much. Like, I've definitely have had my emotions like overwhelmed me, but I've never, but like I've definitely been experiencing more emotion than I knew how to handle at a time. And so, yeah, I don't understand why people give a fuck so much. Like, he's a celebrity, but he's a human being, and it just like annoyed the shit out of me. And so then after he posted his apologies, and of course more think pieces came up, I'm just like, yeah, he's human. But also reading the book, I'm like, he literally starts off the book talking about how his great like regret when he was little was feeling like he was a coward, and how this image of a coward really ingrained in his perception of himself from his childhood onward to adulthood. When he was famous, he still felt as though he was a coward, and everything he was doing was to prove to people that he wasn't a coward and that he did deserve their love and adoration. So just going above and beyond to be there for his fans, being that wild personality, being that entertainer that we all see, comes from a place of wanting to prove to people that he is not a coward. Yeah. And then the Oscars happened, and I know that I felt like people had immediately quoted this part when when the whole Oscar thing happened, but there are other parts in this book that just show like Will really struggled with feeling like a coward as a kid, also feeling as though he couldn't protect his loved ones. And then on top of that, towards the end of the book, I need to go back and like mark up some pages on here, because it was just like, oh my God, really understanding the man that we've gotten to watch for so many years. He literally stated at one point when he's talking about feelings and how he's always dealt with feelings and how he is so uncomfortable with dealing with the feelings. Basically, there was one part in particular where he's basically elaborated and discussed his relationship with feelings and how he did not like feelings, and he didn't like having to deal with his feelings because from the trauma of his childhood, he just kind of wanted the peace, and he realized that the way he entertained people, if he can just get people to smile and laugh, things would be okay. There's some semblance of what he inflated to being happiness, because I can make them smile, because I can get their love for me through my entertainment. And so when you think about his earlier career, all this time wanting all this global fame, wanting all this love and adoration from his fan, it is because of what he wished he had as a child. And so he's seeking that from millions of people across the world. And even as like an early father, dealing with his feelings and the feelings of his children, the feelings of his wife, both Cherie and Jada, and how he always had a problem with feelings. And he talks about how like the whole reason he doesn't address his feelings because of how he feels about feelings, and that he's often finds himself only having to not even necessarily deal with it, but confront his feelings after a big blow, but after something is so blatantly in his face that he has no chance to really deal with it. And how when he has to feel his feelings, it is often in a time where he has blown up. And I was like, reading that like passage, I was just like, yeah, sir. Unfortunately, we saw one of those during the Oscar of like his feelings were too much for him at that time, and he's still struggling to figure out how to deal with this feelings thing, and still learning and trying to process as a man. And as he's writing it, all the other times, it feels like this is the lesson that I have learned over the years. This is the lesson that I've learned. When he was writing his feelings towards feelings and his relationship with his feelings, that felt like, this is what I am still working on. Like me and my feelings, although I am trying to be more aware of them, trying to do more mirror moments with myself and how I deal with my feelings for the value of my relationships and the people that I love, so that we can truly find the essence of love with each other and let each other grow and love ourselves independently and individually, and come together in an environment of love that we have fostered through our love for ourselves, and then for my love for who you love in yourself. Everything else felt like, this is the lesson I learned. Like, yeah, lesson I learned. That when he was talking about his relationship with feelings and how he deals with his feelings, that felt like, I am still working on this. I'm still trying to understand how I perceive my emotions, how I handle my emotions, and how I deal with those moments that are so overwhelming. How do I get to a place where the emotions are no longer overwhelming? I can still be the man my family needs, and the man that you all, well, he doesn't necessarily want to be like the big, well, he is a big movie star, there's no going back, but he doesn't necessarily have that drive to be like going all over the world, press release here, there, everywhere, on planes, nonstop, working 80-hour weeks. He's no longer really feeling that, but that feelings part is something that he's still working on, and I can see that in present day. So that was just a really amazing part to read in the book. I definitely recommend reading his book, especially if you're a person that really likes Will Smith. It is so great to be in his mind. He's also very funny. I definitely also recommend the audiobook of Will Smith. I'm going to read Lore Olympus. We'll see if I'll finish it in less than an hour. So with the clock at 3 hours and 50 minutes, mind you, the stopwatch had stopped after 16 hours and 58 minutes. So rounding that up to 17 hours, I needed to get 4 more hours on the stopwatch, and we are just under that. With that being said, the readathon is officially over, because I doubt that I'll be able to complete a book in 10 minutes. With that being said, I have officially wrapped up Lore Olympus, Volume 1 by Rachel Scythe. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the narrative. I love the colors and the artistry of it all. It really added to the feel of this book and really added to my enjoyment. Even the touchy parts that were actually really even the content warning parts were still, like, it hurt my heart, but the way it was depicted was just very aware, and I appreciated the story and the story that was told. I loved going through each perspective of all the different characters in this book. So if you don't know, Lore Olympus is a Persephone's and Hades retelling. Persephone is a young goddess, and Hades, of course, is the ruler and the king of the underworld. So, you know, young, beautiful goddess, pink tones and beauty, and then Hades in his contrasting blue. Just honestly beautiful art, and the story as well was just very well executed, fast. It really felt like episodes happening, and that's something that I really love with graphic novels, is that it just feels like I'm watching something the whole time because of the added element of the art. Now, the author so kindly added content warnings for the book, so I'm just going to read that for you now. Lore Olympus regularly deals with themes of physical and mental abuse, sexual trauma, and toxic relationships. Some of the interactions in this volume may be distressing for some readers. Please exercise discretion and seek out support of others if you require it. I love it. I love content warnings, but I also love it when they're like stated so beautifully. Top ones. Okay, you're gonna have to get muted pretty soon, buddy. Okay, hush. So yeah, Lore Olympus, finished it. I am giving it a 4.5 stars. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoy it, but that passion, that like, oh my god, I'm absolutely in love, that I feel with 5-star reads just isn't there yet with this volume. So I'm very excited to get into volume 2. And if volume 2 isn't quite what I need to make that 5-star, volume 3 is not that far away. So yeah, I'm here for the story. I'm stuck here now. I love a whole nother thing, and I'm so excited to be a part of this world. But that being said, the readathon has officially ended. Over this 24-hour time period, timed for 24 hours, I read a total of 3 books, 1 romance, 1 nonfiction read through audiobook, and 1 graphic novel. Now, totaling all the pages, it comes up to 1,148 pages. And again, that is with the audiobook of Will, which was itself 412 pages. So, overall, I really love this experiment, and I would definitely want to do it another time where I am just reading physically with my eyes. I would like to see how that goes on. So maybe the next time the Citadel does a readathon, I will do another timed one where I'm just reading physical books. That being said, usually when I do readathons, even then I do audiobooks just to give my eyes a break. But we'll see how that goes down, and I'm very excited and proud of what I have. Of the 3 reads, I have a 5-star, a 5-star, and a 4.5 stars. Life is good over here. Such a great reading challenge and just such a fun vlog and video. I hope you guys feel the same. But with that being said, that is the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed my face, my voice, my extraness, go ahead and press that like button down below, and press the subscribe button and bell notification if you'd like to be notified when I upload. If you'd like to stay connected with me, as I would like to stay connected with you, I of course will have all my social medias linked down below as well. And if you would like to just leave like an emoji down below, you can leave a pepper for Honey and Spice, because of the tagline, which says sweet like a plantain, hot like pepper, they taste the best when together. It just and yeah, I believe that is everything, although I am probably forgetting something because I always forget something. But bye guys.